I believe that for most Americans, certainly in the 5th District of Texas, they're enjoying the best economy of their entire lives.
So why mess it up?
And why mess it up? And so the president's responsible for the great economy, but if we end up in a full-fledged trade war with the world, all of that could be compromised, all of that could be lost. So, Tyler, I am heartened by the fact that we seem to now have a truce with the EU. I'm very heartened, although we haven't seen the text. Devil is always in the details. But the fact that we seemingly now have a handshake agreement with Mexico. I do believe it's important that Canada be a part of that, but I must admit also, having returned from China within the last few weeks, that's where our problem is. They're the serial violator of the WTO. They're still taking our technology, our intellectual property by hook and crook, and I've encouraged the administration, let us focus our resources first in dealing with China. That's the most important thing to do.
There really are, as you point out, to all accounts, really serious, legitimate concerns with the way China plays.
Oh, indeed.
We would seem to be stronger in our negotiating position with the Chinese if we have tight and good trade relations with Mexico, Canada, Japan, Korea. We've just done a deal with Korea. And most, as you point out, the EU as well, right? We're better together facing off against China.
Well, we're certainly better together. And in that part of the world over in Asia, it would be better that the U.S. And our allies write the trade rules as opposed to having China take any type of lead in that. Listen, I'm happy to have China be prosperous, just not at our expense. But ultimately, we have to know that trade benefits Americans. I mean, so much of this, again, is a tax. And right after historic tax relief that people are feeling in their pockets, all of a sudden, you know, the prospect of a trade war, and I'd say today we're still kind of in a trade skirmish when you look at the total amount of trade, the tariffs apply to a relatively small part, but the threat of the trade war has CapEx checkbooks just closing everywhere. Let's put it this way. If I was a soybean farmer in the Midwest, I'm not going out to buy a combine today because I don't know what's going to happen.
Mr. Chairman, what about the argument that we have this strong economy, and this is the time when we should be addressing these imbalances, not only with China, but wherever we have them? And if we go in order of China, and then say Canada, and then say Mexico, and then go to the EU, that perhaps the good economy and the economic strength that we have at our backs might not be there, and we'll be left still with these areas of unfairness. Does it make sense that I understand how the people of Texas are benefiting greatly from the economy now, but should we use this strength to take on these challenges now? And are they doing it the right way?
Well, you mentioned challenges, unfair, and imbalances.
Yes.
Unfairness and imbalance are two different things in my mind. Again, to me, what is the ultimate solution here? The ultimate solution should not be simply to reduce the trade deficit. I could zero out the trade deficit tomorrow. I could outlaw trade.
Great.
Okay, and you can watch disposable family income go through the floor. So that's not the answer. The answer is for Americans to be able to export more, not import less. And we need to leave it to free enterprise to decide what our global supply chain is going to be. It shouldn't be decided over here, over that end of Pennsylvania Avenue or that end of Pennsylvania Avenue. So when you say unbalances, I don't think that's what we're geared towards. What we're geared towards and what the goal ought to be is in the unfairness of those who would use a statist economy with subsidies and non-tariff barriers to prevent Americans from being able to export, not following the globally accepted rules of trade. So again, at the end of the day, we want to export more, not import less. The trade deficit in and of itself is not a terribly meaningful statistic to me. It's understanding why does that exist? What are the underlying causes? You know, we've known since the time of David Ricardo and Adam Smith about comparative advantage. Right. And we want to be able to enjoy our comparative advantage. And one of the comparative advantages we have is intellectual property and technology, and we have to keep it.